Hello and welcome to the Angerati studio at European Utility Week. I'm joined now by Mike Ballard from Oracle. Mike, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. And Mike, you and I have been doing a lot of work on Angerati. We've done a number of webinars and we've been talking a lot about data analytics for a long time. We started talking about big data when Oracle made the acquisition with Data Racker. But one of the interesting things that I'm observing is certainly at this event, there are a lot of new companies coming in. Big data is plastered all over the place. But knowing a bit about that world, it's not as easy as just saying, right, we're going to do some big data. Can you just articulate some of the complexities behind all of that?
Well, certainly Oracle knows a little bit about data. That is
our
core business. Getting value out of data is what Oracle's been doing since it started. And in the world of big data, the challenges that we're seeing others facing is that they don't have that core capability and that ability to scale. And so they're having to start drawing on new sets of resources, new sets of skills, having to make big investments up front to prepare themselves for that, to meet that need. And that's causing a lot of constriction in the skills market for getting hold of the data scientists, getting hold of the data architects that can
It's
build
quite a unique skill, isn't it? Because it's not just, you aren't just talking about structured data, you're talking about unstructured data, you're talking about it in vast volumes, you're then a whole new skill set to interpret that as well.
Absolutely, and also not only the technical skills, but then the business acumen, the business skills of understanding what problems can I solve with the data that I have. And so you've got that combination of needing the mathematical and analytical skills and the industry skills to solve those problems with this new wave of data that's becoming available.
And talking a little bit off air as well, you were kind of saying that, look, there's one way of doing that. You could go and set up your own big data team, but then you've got the whole skills issue. And I kind of also made the observation that data scientists don't like working on one problem for an infinite amount of time. They like different variations. So how can you make this scale?
So the answer to that is to allow it to be repeatable. So the Oracle approach to this is that we have a team of data scientists already there, and we have a technology platform that's already built for scaling, and it's been running for a number of years now, working on millions of meter points and providing value to businesses. But that allows us then to replicate that and to apply that capacity, that capability to multiple utilities at the same time. So rather than every utility going through that pain, going through that learning, having their own investments, they're buying that capability as a service.
And there's learning then within that capability as well, because if you find a solution once, you can then
absolutely
give that to another customer and say, hey, here's something that we found.
And you get to polish it as well. Every time you feed that insight back to a utility, that utility is working with you. It's not just it's not a separated relationship. This is a collaborative relationship where the insights that we provide are then worked on with the business on site in the operational business, where they provide nuances and insights of how their market, their utility is slightly different, and we feed that insight back into the analytics so that the next round of insights are provided are more accurate, providing more value, allowing the business to move forward.
And then touching on that value piece, because it's always one of the things that I find where, and some of the stories you hear about big data is you sometimes feel like a company is just taking a leap of faith, so hey, we've got all this, there must be something in there, let's take a punt, here you go.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of expensive. I mean, you might find, if you find something, you go, whoa, I've won, but
it is expensive, and it's avoidable. So one thing we do know is that the analytics that you provide to solve a business problem, once that business problem is solved and you've got to the root cause, that piece of analytics isn't of much value to you anymore. Certainly not as much value as it was at the beginning. So what you need to be able to do is to be able to move that analytics to the next problem and to the next problem and the next problem. Because otherwise, the value you're getting back on that initial investment will start to diminish over time. And again, that's why a service-based model is so attractive is that you're paying for a service whilst it's providing you value.
And then when it doesn't,
and when it doesn't, you stop taking on that service. And our ambition and our goal is to continue providing that value so that we retain those customers over the long term.
and are you able to bring some insights into life, so that maybe even abstracted or hypothetically, where you're saying, okay, well, here is how it was, and here is now the new way after having done some of the deep
so
analytics.
one of the anchor points of our analytics is what industry best practice has found. So the experience that we've gained over working with utilities on these products, since DataAcre first appeared, has allowed us to provide advice to utilities about how they can improve their operations, and using the analytics as the proof point that if you apply this change in your business practice, you will see your revenue increase, your non-technical losses decreasing, your operational workforce working more efficiently, and it's statistically demonstrable. Which is great when you're trying to persuade your financial director why investing in analytics is going to be good for his business. You can actually do the before and after and demonstrate that value in hard cash.
And can you put any sort of numbers to that? I mean, or orders of magnitude, or something like that? Because whenever a CFO looks at a problem, it's like if the order of magnitude isn't big enough, they aren't going to make the change.
We have customers, long-standing customers that are saving millions of dollars a year through the use of these advanced analytics capabilities.
And the advanced analytics is. Do you think the sweet spot of that domain is just in the operational side of things and the operational efficiency side of things? Because we've been hearing a lot here about business models changing, the way the utility, certainly the retail side of the utility, needs to change the way it engages with the customers. Where's the sweet spot of value for the sort of advanced big data-led analytics?
There is no sweet spot,
right?
Because the value can be gained in every corner of that utility, whether it's in retail operations and understanding the profitability of customers, understanding how you maximise revenue from customers, and identifying risky customers and perhaps adjusting your methods of payments and collections for those customers, or in the mobile workforce in terms of ensuring that they're what the productivity of that staff is in new ways that your current analytics don't provide. In grid operations, the number of analytics provided there, again from the same core data. This is data about customers, about meters, about weather, about asset type, can all be mashed together to provide remarkable new insights in grid, meter operations, customer, and also in the back office, in the financial management of the company as well. There are insights can be provided there. So there is no sweet spot. It is sweet.
It is everywhere. So one of the things that I find as well is that again, this is my observation. The amount of data and talk about technology, and more importantly, a shift in talking about data as something you've got to something you do something with is kind of palpable. But one of the things is, again, with this industry, you need stability, and there are a lot of startups coming in and offering these sort of service. I would imagine that in a company like Oracle, where you're already entrenched within the business, you can provide and you touched on it earlier, a whole different view of this because you understand this business, and to then be able to put those business cases forward in a better way.
I think this is a service that's being offered. Okay, so the service is predicated on having a credible offer that is demonstrable. You need to be able to, if I'm going to provide you with a service, you want to know that I've done it before and that I have gain. That I can deliver that service, and that when you are paying me money, I'm going to give you the return. Now, that's very hard to do when you have no track record in delivering that particular value proposition. So we're in a very fortunate position, advantageous position, that we have been doing this for a number of years, and we have a number of customers who continue to renew that service with us because we're continuing to add value. And the important part of this is also about the speed of return. It is, the amount of time it would take you to hire your team of data scientists could be months. It could take you 3-6 months to get that team up and running. You could bought that service and be getting value from that data in less time than it takes you to hire your own data scientists.
And then also what you said earlier is you can also stop using that service if you've kind of maximized all the
shift it to another part of your business. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And because this is operational budget as well. This is not capitalized capex that you need for other infrastructure type activity. This is operational budgets which you can then offset against the savings in your operational costs of running your business. So
I mean, that touches on something else as we're sort of coming to the end of our time in the studio, and I feel that the utility sector, certainly when I talk to utilities and engage with them, do you think it'll need them to change the way they think about the implementation of services? Because I feel in the heart, the DNA, they're so used to building things, they're engineers at the heart of it, that using something like this as a service, we had I interviewed a gentleman earlier who offers a data aggregation service, and it's like the amount of conversations I'm having where I'm having to explain that you can turn this on and off as when you need it. It's not a sunk capex.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that as well, or is that
it varies? It varies considerably from country to country. Some countries have a tradition of in-house and in building, but it's our job, our role, to demonstrate why a service-based model is just a smarter way, with all the other work that utilities have got to do around smart meter deployments, around decarbonisation and smart grid. There are some things that they could just they just want to hand off.
Like running a team of data scientists.
Exactly.
Okay. On that note, Mike, it's been a pleasure as ever, and thank you as well for watching. And as you know, we've worked with Oracle for a long time, so we're going to try and work with Oracle to get some more depth about what big data can do for your business, and allow you to enjoy that as well. So thank you for watching.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Mike.